What is up, Ravens Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Flock Talk. Today, we are discussing why the Baltimore Ravens should not trade for either Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley ahead of this year's trade deadline. But before we get into all of that good stuff, if you are a Ravens fan and you're new to this channel, first of all, thank you for joining us today. But if you could just take a very quick second and hit subscribe and help grow this channel, I appreciate you. All we do is talk about Ravens football here, so I hope you enjoy the content. The topic surrounding the Ravens as of late that I've seen is, should they trade for Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley? And I get all the arguments for it. First of all, they're both amazing players, amazing athletes, and some of the best at their positions, right? They've been incredibly successful in this league many times, especially Derrick Henry because the scheme has really favored him. But Saquon has been lights out as well. They're very different backs, different styles. Saquon can be used more in the passing game than Derrick Henry, but still, they're both amazing players, right? So I get the excitement that we would get from adding them into this offense with Lamar and all the other skill position players, right? Additionally, you just signed Lamar Jackson to a 5-year deal. So this is the Ravens Super Bowl window. You bring in Todd Monken to help elevate the offense to hopefully new heights that we've seen in Baltimore and kind of make the offense more modern. And they haven't quite reached that yet consistently, but hopefully as the season goes, they'll get there. Now, I don't think that either Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or any running back in this league is going to push the Baltimore Ravens over the top to a Super Bowl. The NFL has shown through the last 10 plus years, you do not need to have a quote-unquote elite running back. Now, obviously, all these guys in the league, you could make an argument are elite because they're in the NFL, which is the league with the best players in the league. But you know what I'm saying. Some of the best, like Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. You don't need those level of backs anymore in this league to win Super Bowls. We just saw the Chiefs win it with Isaiah Pacheco at running back, who was a rookie last year. We've seen that through the last, like I said, 10, 12 years. If I remember correctly, the last, I don't remember how many Super Bowl winners, I think over a dozen, the average salary for the top paid running back was like $2.5 million. So that is not the most important position on the offense. And I don't hear people arguing that it is necessarily, but the problem with trading for these guys, first of all, you have to give up probably draft compensation. Are either of these teams going to accept a trade for anything less than, say, a second-round pick? They're still both very good players. Why would they part from them for next to nothing unless they just go full rebuild and want the maximum amount of picks, and they might give up like 2 third-rounders? Or if you have to give up a second-rounder for either of these guys or more, I don't think it should happen because I don't think that position is valuable enough to give up a second round or a first rounder to go get them, especially if they're aging. Their best days are behind both of them. Saquon Barkley has had, a lot of injuries through his career. Even this year, he's missed a couple games. Additionally, both of these guys are going to want paid. Are the Ravens in the business of paying a running back $10 million plus a year? I think the answer to that is no. And I don't think they should because, like I just stated, Super Bowl winners the last 10 plus years haven't done that. And they've won Super Bowls. So why would the Ravens do that? If the Ravens make a splash trade for an offensive player, I think they should add another quality receiver. And you may be thinking, that's ridiculous because they spent all offseason adding receivers, and that's true. But hear me out. Odell Beckham Jr., we don't know what his availability is going to be. In a perfect world, he's going to play the rest of the season. He's already missed a couple games. He is, no disrespect to him at all, he does not. He seems very fragile at this point in his career, to put it bluntly. And you just never know when he's going to be out, when he's going to catch a slant, and then he's out for a game and a half or 2 games, or we just don't know. And I don't think you can rely with the Ravens being in their Super Bowl window. I don't think you can put your chips in on a guy that is as injury prone as Odell Beckham Jr., even though I do like him and I'm glad they got him, and he can still add a lot of value to this offense. Secondly, A guy that we expected big things from this year, and Rashad Bateman, has yet to show up. If I'm not mistaken, he has like 10 catches for 82 yards this season. Not good. Not great. And you can say, well, he's been injured, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I can agree with that. But again, that's a concern because he's yet to play a full season in this league because of injuries. And until I see Rashad Bateman break out, can you really continue to bet that he's going to break out? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to him. I like him as a player, and I still believe he has high upside, but I have to see it. And those two guys were supposed to be key parts of this offense coming into the season, and they've both been out with injuries, and neither one of them have yet to really emerge as a top target for Lamar Jackson. That being said, would a good veteran, proven receiver not be a good move if you can get it for cheap enough? I'm not suggesting they go trade a first-round pick to go get fill in the blank, whoever you want to put in there. Devontae Adams, I've seen people suggest that. No, I don't think they should do that either. But on the flip side, when do you go all in if you're the Baltimore Ravens? This is your Super Bowl window. When do you go all in to make this the time you win a Super Bowl? In conclusion, I don't think the Ravens should spend draft picks on running backs, especially if they're going to be rentals for just this year and you're not planning on re-signing them, unless you get it for dirt cheap, like maybe a third-round pick. But I don't see either of those guys getting moved for a third-round pick whatsoever. So I think that's totally unrealistic to expect. I would not mind seeing them bring in another good receiver to help Lamar Jackson in this offense hopefully get going. And on top of that, one thing I forgot to mention, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill are very, very capable backs. Okay, are they going to be mentioned in the top 5 running backs in the league? No, you're never going to hear them on ESPN or even you're not going to hear them anywhere being talked about as some of the best backs in the league. But they're both very capable backs. But the line has really let them down this year. And I don't want to be one of those fans that every time something goes wrong on the offense, I point my fingers at the offensive line and say, they're just failing. They've had really, really good moments. We've seen that this year where they've been elite. But there's been other moments where they're not. And the Ravens are still 4th in the league in rushing yards per game at just under 150. And a lot of that is Lamar. They need to get Justice Hill and Gus Edwards going consistently if they're going to get this offense to the elite level that we all expected when Todd Monken came in this offseason. So I don't care who you have in the backfield, whether it's Saquon, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, whoever you want to put in there. If the offensive line is doing a poor job of run blocking, it doesn't matter. If they have the guys in the backfield that are good enough to make a deep playoff run, and Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, unfortunately, JK, it would also be in that conversation, but once again, he's out for the season, unfortunately. I don't think they should go and spend whatever on another running back. That's just my opinion, though. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments. Should the Ravens go make a move for Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley? If not, what do you think they should do? Do you think they should stand pat? Do you think they should go out and get a receiver? What do you think the Ravens should do before the trade deadline? Let me know in the comments. If you made it to the end, do me a huge favor. Like this video and subscribe if you're new. Help grow this channel. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Go Ravens.